What's going on, guys? Repairs and reviews here. Today I'm going to be reviewing my Husky 30-gallon 175 psi oilless air compressor. I picked this up at Home Depot. The going rate on this is about $269, the everyday price. I think I got it on sale. I saved 20 bucks. The actual model number of this is a C303H, and we're just going to jump right in it here and do some, pros, some cons, some specs, and some light testing on it. I don't have a whole lot to test it. I was going to take the tires off my truck with it, but it's pouring out today, so I'm just going to make the best of it. The height, roughly 45-46 inches high. The depth, roughly 20-21 worst case, if I'm measuring that right. The width, wheel to wheel, about 21.5. And that is a spec that was important to me because I want it to go right there. That is its permanent home that I was planning on parking it in, but I found myself bringing it out and wheeling it around because it is so mobile. Let's go ahead and park that there. First thing here, we're going to see how long it takes to build air from 0 all the way to 175. And this will give you a good idea of how loud it is too, which is kind of on the pro side of things. It's not that loud, but it could be quieter, but here we go. There we go. A little over 9 minutes to build from 0 to 175. A little slow in my book, but at the same time, it is an oilless compressor. If you had an actual oiled compressor, it would probably speed up that process, but a little over 9 minutes to go from nothing to completely full. Alright, we're going to get into some pros and cons here. I don't know if I went over it already, but that label up there shows you all the specifics. It is 30 gallons. It is 6.8 SCFM at 40 psi, and that is standard cubic feet per minute at 40 psi. It's 5.1 SCFM at 90 psi. It is 175 psi max and a 1.7 horsepower motor running. It is an oilless compressor. But I don't know if any of you seen the Harbor Freight version that I had for like 3 days, but here is a pro. Look at this cable. The actual power cable is about twice as big than the Harbor Freight, and the Harbor Freight would dim the lights, and it would draw a lot of power, and I was afraid this was going to do the same thing. But with this beefy of a cable, I mean, I plug it right into that outlet over there, and this is an older garage, and the lights don't dim. I don't notice any power loss. It hasn't tripped any breakers, so that is definitely a plus. The oilless compressor is a pro. At first it was a con in my book. Being a mechanic, I just preferred a mechanical oil compressor. They tend to last longer, they're proven, all that stuff, but these oilless models have come a long way, and I hope I get many years of good service out of this. Another pro, it came pre-assembled in the box, meaning this handle, those wheels, and the little rubber feet on the other side all came as you see. I didn't have to put anything together. I just took it out of the box and plugged it in, which was great. A con, and as you saw, it's a little slow to build air. It could be better. It does not take that long to build back up once it cuts on, because it does not go all the way to empty. I think it cuts on around the 90 psi area, 90 to 100 psi, something like that. And we'll do a test for that to see how long it takes. But another con, and this is kind of weird, every time this runs it has an odd smell. I don't know if that's the electric motor kind of still breaking in, because I mean I haven't used it that much. Maybe that smell will go away, but it's still present at this time every time it runs. It's a plasticky kind of electric motor smell. I don't know how to describe it. It's an odd smell. Another con, and it has not affected the way it performs, is this plastic cover. This is how it came out of the box. And it looks like it should go back together, but I can't get it to go back together. And I'm not about to take it apart to mess with it, because it's fine, and I've had bad luck with compressors. So, you know, it's working. I'm leaving it alone. But that's really the only cons that I have for this. Another pro, it has 2 air connectors, so you can run 2 different tools or 2 different lines at the same time. And another thing, and I'm not sure what they call these. I don't have them at work. They are, I guess, quick connectors. So as soon as you release them, they stay there, and all you have to do is push it back in. It's a little hard to do one-handed. Just a tip on me. Just like that. See, at work, you have to pull these back and put the tool in. But these things just pop right in there. And as soon as you release them, it goes back to being open like this. So I run a Flexzilla 3/8 airline to run all my stuff. And it is definitely capable of running just about everything I put to it. If you know, if you work with air tools, one of these little die grinders consume a lot of air. And it doesn't affect the tank pressure much at all when you use this. So I'm going to give a little demonstration. Didn't use much at all. I mean, if you're constantly using it, it's gonna affect it. But you know, this is by far the best air compressor that I've ever had as far as running air tools. I use, like I said, the Flexzilla, and then I have bought this line right here. I'll plug this one in up here. And I just leave this hooked up. So if I need to quickly blow something off, blow it off and I'm good. And I hang it right back here where I put a screw. But I think that's all I have as far as pros and cons. We're going to get into some testing here. I guess another pro, and I can mention this, is I don't drain this tank when I go in. When I'm done using it, all I do is I flip this switch off so it doesn't sit out here and run if it does have a leak. But every time I come in, I cut it back on when I go to use it. And it has always had air pressure. It has not leaked down much at all. And I leave both of these lines hooked up. So if there is any air loss you know, it could be in one of these connectors. But it is very little. I've left it out here for a week without messing with it, and it has lost very little air. So that was impressive to me. But I'm going to get my impact, and we're going to go do some small testing here. Like I said, I don't have a lot of stuff that requires a 1/2-inch drive impact around here. I just have small engine stuff, and I was going to pull my truck up and take a wheel off, but weather's nasty, so we're just going to keep it indoors and just show you what it'll do. This is the Snap-on MG725. It is about 8, maybe 9 years now. I bought this when I first started. So, very powerful impact. It consumes a lot of air. And we're going to see. And I have no doubt in my mind that it'll take these off. But, you know, it's one of the very few tests that I have. But here we go. I mean, little, very, very little effort. This is a very powerful gun, but at the same time, consumes a lot of air, and the compressor you're using matters. So, that is a plus in my book. Let's just snug these up. Let's go over and try something different. Alright, I'm trying to find the biggest things that I can take off using this, and, you know, the wheels and the front axle, I guess you would say. It's about the biggest thing I have around here, so I'm just going to do a quick test here. Just like that. It's very fast, very powerful. You can just hear it in the tool itself. I mean, it wants to run. It's got a great compressor behind it. I hooked this to the Harbor Freight that I owned for 2 days, and it wouldn't. I mean, the difference it made to have a compressor, because the Harbor Freight was at 125, just to have 50 more PSI and a slightly bigger air tank makes all the difference in the world. And that's pretty much all the tests that I have. And that compressor is not cut back on yet. So I've been using it over here, just messing around on camera and off camera. And let's see if we can get it to cut back on. Let's walk back over here. Okay. After our test using the 1/2-inch impact and the brief use of the die grinder I have, that's how much air we lost. From 175 to just over 150. I think that's pretty good. So, I got the Kindle back out. I'm going to use this to see when it starts or engages the compressor again, and then I'm going to start the timer and see how long it takes to build back up from that point. So here we go. A little over 2.5 minutes to go from when it kicks back on, which I believe was around the 135 mark, I would say. So from about 135 back up to 175 took roughly 2.5 minutes, which isn't that bad. That pretty much sums up the review and testing of the Husky 30-gallon 175 psi oilless compressor. I am very happy with it. For its capabilities and price range, it is hard to beat. I believe the Husky compressor comes with a 2-year warranty, and they actually will ask you at the counter if you want to buy an additional warranty, which I did not. So I'm going to trust the 2-year warranty that Husky offers to take me there and hopefully get well over 2 years out of it. But I've turned it off for the day, and I would not hesitate to say that those gauges will be exactly where I left them if I come back tomorrow. And if they are not, I would have to blame it on one of my tools connected to it, because I do leave the lines hooked up. But if you have any questions, please comment, and I will do my best to answer them. I am very happy with the compressor and its capabilities, and I hope to get many years of service. Spin Repairs and Reviews. Thanks for watching.